If you have the very specific itch of playing as an anthropomorphized four-legged beast in Final Fantasy VII Remake, then Red 13 is really the only character who scratches that itch. But of course, there's a lot more to him than that. On top of his instantly eye-catching character design and his particular usefulness as a party member, Red 13's narrative arc is also one of Final Fantasy VII's highlights. And though his role was limited in 2020's Final Fantasy VII Remake, he didn't fail to make an impact. Now set for a much more prominent role in the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, ahead of the game's launch, here we're going to look at Red 13's setting so far in the Remake trilogy before going on to discuss what the future might hold for him. As mentioned, Red 13's role in Final Fantasy VII Remake is quite limited, with him being introduced very close to the end of the game, at which point he does technically join the party, but as an AI-controlled guest companion rather than as a fully fledged, fully playable party member.
So what the hell is it?
A fascinating question.
Did it just talk?
You asked what it is. I am that which you see before you. Nothing more. I'd appreciate it if we simply left it at that. Agreed?
Red 13, whose real name is Nanaki, enters the stage in the Remake trilogy's first installment when Cloud, Tifa, and Barret infiltrate Shinra HQ towards the end of the game in order to rescue Aerith. They successfully manage to track her down, which is where they find Red 13 as well. So how exactly did he get there? That's not something that Final Fantasy VII Remake goes into, which is understandable given the climactic point in the game's setting where Red 13 is first introduced. And with his setting looking all but guaranteed to be fully revealed in the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, for those of you who are new to the game, we're not going to spoil those details for you here. The long and short of it, however, is that he was captured by Shinra forces a little over a year before he crossed paths with Cloud and company. Upon being captured, he was given the designation Red 13, after which he was consistently experimented on as a specimen. At this point, Red 13 is a little under 50 years old, which by human standards makes him a teenager, since his species, which curiously enough still hasn't been given an official name by the developer, lives for multiple centuries on average. Anyways, after first encountering Cloud, Tifa, and Barret, Red 13 initially shows some aggression, but just as Barret, believing him to be a mindless monster, is about to fire his weapon, they're informed by Aerith that he's not their enemy. Once any and all misunderstandings are cleared, Red 13 decides to accompany the party and work with them in order to escape Shinra HQ. That, of course, proves to be quite the ordeal, with Sephiroth to Shinra's forces and even more standing in their way. Ultimately, however, Red 13 and the rest of the party are able to successfully flee. Before their escape from Midgar, they once again take Sephiroth on in a climactic duel, which ends with Cloud being overwhelmed and Sephiroth departing the scene, and also fight the ghostly entities known as the Whispers, who are making sure that things go exactly as they're prescribed, without any deviations. With Red 13's help, the party is able to defeat the Whispers, which, in theory, should mean that the setting from this point forward doesn't have to stick to the path laid down previously. And that is where Final Fantasy VII Remake ends, and that is roughly where Rebirth will pick up. Red 13 is of course still very much a fresh inductee in the core group, but right from the get-go, he's set to take on a significantly more prominent role in the upcoming sequel. In addition to the plain and simple fact that he's going to be a main character in the setting from beginning to end this time around, unlike in Remake, in Rebirth he's also going to be a fully playable party member. He's going to be there when you're running around the massive world map, he'll be on Chocobo back when you're galloping through the world on top of a bird, and, of course, he'll be fully controllable in combat. The developer has also revealed a few unique mechanics that Red 13 will have access to, both in and out of combat. When exploring the world, if you're controlling Red 13, you'll be able to scale certain walls, while in combat he's going to have access to a new mechanic known as Vengeance Mode, which is going to be exclusive to him. Acting as sort of an inverse of the regular ATB mechanic, Red 13's Vengeance gauge will fill up each time he successfully blocks an attack. And the more it fills up, the longer you'll be able to keep his Vengeance Mode active, which in turn will give him access to special skills and abilities. And what should we expect from it on the narrative front? Well, quite a bit, one would presume at least. Interestingly enough, if we're looking strictly at the Remake continuity, there's a great deal that the trilogy hasn't revealed about Red 13 so far. We know that we're eventually going to learn not only how and when he was captured by Shinra, but also learn details about his earlier years, the tragedies he suffered at that time, and how they shaped his personal arc. It's been officially confirmed that Cosmo Canyon will be one of several key locations we'll be visiting in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which in Red 13's home and the place where all of his details are really revealed, which means the upcoming game is almost certainly going to retell that setting. Of course, the big question is, as it is with pretty much every single character of any significance in the game, are things for Red 13 going to go exactly the way we expect them to? Clearly, this remake trilogy isn't sticking to the script, and to say the very least, there's a high chance that there are going to be more than a few changes in Rebirth, both dramatic and otherwise. Are any of them going to impact Red 13 and his personal arc in any way? Will any details be tweaked? Will any new tidbits be added in? As we touched on earlier, the name of Red 13's species has never been officially revealed, so can we expect that to change in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? With the game set to launch mere days from now on February 29th, thankfully we won't have to wait too long to get the answers to at least some of our questions.
It's okay. We'll find a way out together.
And that brings us to the end of this video. A quick request before we conclude. We upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.